Alright guys, we're back with why you're probably holding the leash wrong. And if you ask me what's the biggest mistake I see in videos, it's the way they're holding the leash. They're holding it wrong, and they're not using the leash to give precursors and all that. And so you're not helping yourself by doing that. You've got to think of the leash as the communication tool. You know, albeit somewhat limited. Anyway, the dog isn't even here right now, but the way I do it, and this is not the right leash. The only reason I'm using this leash is because this is probably what you guys use at home. And Mandy, if you're watching, I'm getting Parker out right after this, but this is actually his leash. So this is the kind of leash people buy. They don't go to the store and start buying a thin leash. I used to tell them to do it. And they wouldn't do it. They would come back and they'd still have a big, heavy leash. So, you know, if you said, well, we're going to make the leash the source of a lot of precursors. Oh, well, that should be easy with this big thing. So the dog is not here. I'll tell you where he's at. He's over there hunting squirrels. He just perpetually moves around. And oh, he's trying to jump up in the tree and get him. If you said put a default down on the dog, it probably would be hard. It'd be hard to do on him, and it'd be hard to do on that dog Friday because they're perpetual motion. So I'm just going to control the dog. I'm not going to say anything. That's the other thing I see people do. Even my old videos, I'm thinking, you know, your commands are way too loud and, you know, they're really not effective. I can control this dog just with motion. So, you know, if you said, should I do that? Absolutely, because this is what you guys have to think of when you're talking about the e-collar. If you're doing anything more than a 2-week program, you better have a long-term plan so that at the end of a year, you know, because I realize, I guess it was maybe, have I had Maverick for a year? Maybe not a year, but a year ago was when maybe he was here getting trained. So, you know, I mean, in that time, he's gotten, you know, now he jumps up in the air, does all these things. So, you know, I did have the ability to condition him long-term with the e-collar, and you guys have got to have that. Anyway, what I'm always adjusting this. So, if I'm thinking of the leash as something I'm going to use to give precursors, like the reins of a horse, except for the not pulling back part, you know. It's honestly simple, you guys. It's simple. There's no easier way for them to understand this because people don't have the right timing. Let's just say, due to the proclivity for human error, your best bet as a novice is to do it like this. And he's equipment neutral. He's not thinking, oh, I got my collar on. You don't want that. I'll tell you who does that, the puppies now. But, you know, my role from here is always, I'm looking at the leash, and he understands. I've been working with this little. Ah! No, that was the wrong trick. I've been trying to work him with, because he does only have that one trick. And he's not as, I don't think he does the bunny hop. Let me see. Oh, what am I talking about? You do the kangaroo. So, that's how close he's watching me. You want to make, I think what you guys need to do is get him on this platform and start figuring out how small of a cue can this animal see. Pretty small. Pretty small. I'm going to do as less as possible. That's how close he's watching me, though. How small of a... Pretty small. And if you said, why did he do that? Because I rotated my shoulders that way. That's the... He understands... He understands that that's the precursor... Dog and training. For... You know, I've broken it down that small. And if you said, well, make it less than that, you want to be able to do that too, don't you? And if you said, well, how would you do that? More eyes and just a tiny bit of shoulder. I don't think I even talked to this. And I think if you've got a dog long term, if you really are having the best relationship with them, it requires way less words. And I just replaced the words with the pager, but you know, I'm using the leash for the precursor. There goes the leash. There goes the leash. So I'm operating the leash from here to here. Dog and training. But you can, you know, if it was a contest and you had to keep the leash real steady and all these different things, that would be good. The people would have to do it. I see people holding the leash wrong all the time, and I want to say something, but I don't. I can't have no friends. But you want to be able to have a dog when it's on a platform that it doesn't have a problem being that close to you. He doesn't think I'm going to reach out and touch him. You know, I got to update my Facebook status. Note to self, you're not ever going to remember to turn the hose off, so don't leave it running and think you're going to come back. You know, and if you said it was a very subtle cue, it would be dumbing this dog down to do more than that. You know, so you gotta think of it now. And that's why, probably why my hands are like that. Because if you're, Betty, you know, if you do have the leash, I mean, you gotta be holding the leash somehow. If the dog's in front of you, you're not gonna be holding the leash like that. So, I mean, probably that's why I got my hands to be like this. You know, and then there's the leash coming around, same thing. It's just, the leash isn't there. There's the leash coming around. You know, but I can give them, you know, if you said you're screaming at the dog, oh my God. All right, so look, I can do the trained retrieve, and I do have this dog. I've been working, I'll tell you what I've been working him on, making him a little bit steady, because I found an old video, and he was actually more steady back in the past. So the way that I have to do that is, and I'm still though, remember he'll jack me. I'm gonna try to get him to get the other ones without giving him anything. I'm still keeping up the, honestly, if you just go like that, it's giving the impression. He's not thinking she's coming at me. Yeah, he didn't buy it. You see that, you guys? He did not buy my story, and he totally jacked me. And if you said, will the dog ever get over that? Probably not. Probably not. He's too smart. He knows my little fake out, sleight of hand, unless he can see the payment due, he's not going to let go of it. You know, and I wouldn't damage my relationship with the dog. It's such an intelligent dog. He's smarter than I am. So, you know, me jerking him on a pinch collar and doing all these things, it wouldn't be relationship building. He stays by me because he thinks he can make me do something. You know, not because he thinks I can make him do something. I think that's what the difference is. And I still, even with this dog, I'll put him out of my eye line. I will put him out of my eye line. And so you saw what happened. He started putting on a little show. The second I wasn't looking at him, you know. Daddy. Anyway, you guys. guys. I'm going to be right back with Parker. But, you know, I hope that helps you. You're thinking to yourself, especially long-term, you know, if I'm going to have a long-term relationship with the dog where I'm going to continue to train it with an e-collar longer than 2 weeks, you do have to have a program. Because if stimulus is cumulative in dogs, you can load it up for about 2 weeks, but you can't keep loading stimulus at that rate in dogs week after week after week after week. They're gonna start figuring out that funny feeling and all this stuff has to do with you, and that they would prefer not to have that. So I think that's the lesson, though. You can control them. You know, he's watching me every little move I make. You know, and if you said what brought him, you know, just that posture. You know, and he wants to. He's going to get both of them, watch. Oh, he won't stop till he get both of them in his mouth. Oh, he's going to just, oh my God. Ah! He did it like Jenga. So I have reduced his fetch command down to, if you said that'll come back to hunt, yeah, it probably will. All right, guys, I'll be right back. Hi, all of you guys. Hi, Ryan. Hi, Minnie. That's my friend that lives in South Africa that helps animals. I'm so impressed with everything you do. So anyway, guys, I will be right back with Hawker. That's the story. Don't. Less is more, I think. Less is more. And Kathy, you know that girl. You know that girl. I'll be right. He's now taking the thing and gone. I'll be right back.